Hello, friends. Welcome to the Lost and Found. We are back and better than ever. I just spent what feels like 2 months with a few days back at home in between, but 2 months traveling after not having traveled for a long time, which for me was about 3 months. I wasn't traveling because I was switching jobs, and if you know me, you know that it sounds like I'm always switching jobs. People are always congratulating me for my new job. This has made me feel a little bit insecure over the years because I have switched jobs quite a few times, and I think a lot of people will stay at one job for a while, and a lot of people don't, but a lot of people do, and that has made me feel a little bit insecure. But we're back. We're better than ever. I started a new job yesterday. It is satisfying all of my needs, which is really great. My last job promised me remote, and then 4 months in, they said, oh, you have to move to New York City. And it was not what I wanted. I used to live in New York for a little over a year, and it's my favorite city in the entire world. Don't get me wrong. It's literally, this is New York City, right? Have it hanging up above my bed. It's been my favorite place since the first time I ever went. But when I move back to New York, which I will, it's going to be on my own terms. It's not going to be going into an office 4 days a week with no windows and everybody's just running off coffee and fumes. And that's the New York I lived, and it wasn't meant for me. I like New York because of the freedom and the excitement and the ability to go to Central Park and go to a Broadway and be surrounded by creative people, which you obviously get in an office. You're surrounded by people, but you're also forced into a box, and that just didn't sit right with me. So anyway, when I was given this invitation to move back to the city, I thought about it, but I also knew that it didn't feel right for me. And I actually met with somebody online. She's kind of like a therapist, and one of the greatest things that she said to me is, all you have to do right now is ground. Your heart already holds the answer of whether or not you're going to go to New York or you're going to stay back and create something for yourself like this podcast, which wasn't created 5 months ago when I no longer was working for that company. I hope that this is making some sense. Essentially, 5 months ago in November, I was told, your remote job, we're liquidating it. The only way that you can continue to work for us is if you move to New York City. I said, okay, give me some time to think about this. And in that time, I had not taken my content creation seriously in any way, shape, or form. My TikTok wasn't really a thing. I was somewhat posting on it, but not seriously. I hadn't started a podcast, anything like that. So once I got that news, I reached out to somebody that I met on TikTok who was kind of creating all of this content, and I was just inspired by her. So we spoke. I told her, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be confined into an office 4 days a week in New York City, even though it's my dream place, blah, 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 blah. But I kept coming back to, I don't know what to do. And she looked at me and she said, you do know what to do. You know exactly what you need to do, but you need to create stillness so that you can actually hear it. And she said, in moments like this is where people most want to panic, and they want to act because they think that they need to in order to be okay. But the truth is that acting from a place of incoherence is only going to lead you in the wrong direction, and then you're going to have to pivot from there. So the best thing to do in the moment when you're in this fight or flight, in this uncomfortable space between past life and future life, the best thing to do here is ground. And what do I mean by grounding? I mean coming back to yourself, to your breath, to your body, where your feet are, going outside, planting your feet in the grass, putting your face to the sun, taking deep breaths, journaling, doing things that settle your nervous system, not panic applying to a bunch of jobs and just taking whichever one comes first, making that panic decision, saying yes or no, doing anything that's kind of like drastic or big. No. Put your feet in the grass. Don't make any sort of a decision from an incoherent place. Allow yourself to be coherent. And so this is what I did. I leaned back and I said, you know what? This isn't the time to panic apply to other places. This isn't the time to start calling everyone up and telling them what's happening to me. I'm just going to sit back, surrender, trust, and also take this time where I'm not working and I'm in that in-between space to focus on my content creation and my creative pursuits and doodling, which I love to do. And also my singing and playing guitar. So I was able to kind of play more in my life because I no longer was committed to working 8 hours a day for this company. So I was able to lean into these creative pursuits that were really exciting for me. So it felt actually like I was working, but I liked to work. And in doing this, it brought me to a place of understanding that, the reason that I've switched between jobs so many times is not because I'm a bad worker. It's not because I have commitment issues. It's not because I'll never be successful in the work environment. It's because I've been putting all of my focus and this bucket of fulfillment, I've been only pouring myself into. If I'm the bucket, I've only been pouring in work from corporate America, and that does not necessarily fulfill me. So now that I'm working and I'm creating content and I'm creating a video at least every single day, and I'm playing my guitar every single morning for 15 minutes a day, and I'm journaling, and I opened up the Artist's Way, and I started doing all of these things that were still work, but it was aligned to me. It was coming from this kind of coherent place. It was allowing me to be more coherent. And in that, I was feeling very fulfilled. And so I was able to take slow steps into searching for a new job, because ultimately I had decided I'm not meant to go back to New York this way. It's just not, I'm not going to push myself into that, even though it does seem like a challenge and like something that I'm scared to do. But more than scared to do, it was something that gave me, and I use this word a lot, dread. That is the word that I use. I said it actually, I dread the idea of being back in my favorite city, but trapped in an office. And that's where I decided it's just not meant for me, and I'm going to take my time and find something that's truly in alignment. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to take content creation seriously. And about a month after quitting my past job, I started the podcast. And it's been this incredible journey where I've just kind of leaned into being more myself and working on things that are so much more fulfilling, while still knowing deep down inside of me that financial stability is at the top of my values. I value it tremendously. And I also value creativity and authenticity, things like that. But financial stability is something that I don't ever want to not value. So although I do think that content creation and being an entrepreneur is very much something that I'm going to continue, and it's something that I will benefit from monetarily in the future, it's not something that I want to be creating from an impure place where I'm chasing stability, financial stability from it. So that also made me realize, as much as I am going to take this seriously, the TikTok, the Instagram, the YouTube, the content creation, putting myself out there, I am not going to force myself to succeed in this financially right off the bat. I'm going to allow myself to slowly build my community from that pure place, which is why I continued looking for a corporate job. And also, that's not to say that the moment that my entrepreneurship skyrockets, I'm going to leave this. I don't know what my plans are. I really do enjoy my corporate work. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy learning. I enjoy building. And right now in my life, it's what feels the most aligned to me, to do both of these things. Maybe in the future I will let that go. But I also know that right now I'm just benefiting a lot from it. Not just financial stability, that is like the number one, but also it's working with people who are committed to corporate America. And that to me is actually very, very valuable because I'm such a free-spirited, independent thinker that surrounding myself with people who are committed to something outside of themselves benefits me tremendously. And I like it. I love it. I think it's good for me. So about 3 months passed of this and I was not traveling. And I said, you know what? I still haven't secured the job that is most meant for me. I have interviewed and I've actually found some positions that seem quite aligned, but not a single one of them is 100% the one. And I haven't been offered and I haven't accepted. And I'm a little bit overwhelmed just being at home. So I'm going to go travel. And I ended up going to Mexico for 2 weeks about. And I actually filmed or recorded another podcast talking about solo travel and the importance of this. And it brought me back to my roots, brought me back to myself, who I am outside of my career, and brought me close to a friend I had actually never been so close to in the physical realm, definitely in the spiritual ether. We've been very close. If you know, I kind of say this about some relationships I have in my life. Like physically, we never hung out all that much. We never had really long in-depth conversations, but our souls just connect and we see each other. And this is one of those friends. And I met her at her house, and I actually have about a 2-hour long podcast episode with her to edit. It's beautiful. Shout out Sarah. I love you so much. I don't know if you're watching this. I don't know if anybody's watching this, but Sarah is my friend in Mexico who I went to visit, and I just kind of came back home on that trip. And by home, I mean myself, because another thing about me is that I don't know where the fuck home is. I don't know. Pardon my French. I don't know why I did that, but I don't know where home is. Sure, I was born in Miami. Sure, my parents are Venezuelan. Sure, I lived in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta for the longest time. That's the longest place I've ever lived. I went to school in Indiana for 4 years. I lived in New York for a little bit. Of all of the places, New York is the one that I guess I felt the most inspired and at home. But I've never felt truly home anywhere other than myself, because I am home. And so going to Mexico, this new place I'd never been to, really brought me back home. And it's funny because once you're coherent, everything starts to align. And it was in that trip that I started interviewing for the position that I just started yesterday. And it happened in like a week. Did my first interview, second interview, third interview, offered the job. And I wasn't stressed out about it. I didn't need it. It was kind of, I just got into a place where it was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I know that so many people say this, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, truly. And if you're chasing something from an empty place, like I need this, then I'm convinced it's not really going to work out and it's not really meant for you. So yeah, I had an incredible experience with this company. I trusted them a lot. They promised me that I would be able to work remotely. The pay was very good. I would say that it's aligned to the value that I can give. Or, I don't know, I don't mean to limit myself like that. I could make a lot more, and I'm just satisfied, and it's good. So I accepted, and I asked them if it was possible to take about a month gap in between, and they accepted, and I went to Europe. And I visited my family. I went with my grandma, my mom, my grandma, who this is maybe her last trip this big ever again in her life. So being able to go and spend time with her was definitely the highlight for me. Wheeling her around Barcelona with my cousins who I hadn't seen in years, it was essential to also coming home to myself. And what's truly beautiful about being with family when you are at peace with yourself is that you can truly be present with them. And that's something that I ran away from for a very long time in my life. So I've kind of been all over the place with this episode, and it's not as much of a directly inspirational episode. It's more about myself and where I'm at in life right now. And I didn't really want to talk about the whole job thing. But now that things have kind of fallen into place and I'm feeling comfortable and supported and content, I thought I would talk about it. Life is a series of ups and downs and changes and positive, negative, but also neutral. And I'm definitely not exempt from any of the emotions and the mood swings and the changes. So I wanted to share. And to anybody who is in this place where they're unsatisfied with their career, or maybe they're searching for a career, or, you know, they don't have a job, they're stressed, whatever it is, I recommend be where your feet are. Make decisions from a coherent place, but also trust yourself. Trust your gut. You know what is right for you. You know what is best for you. You do know. You do. You just have to get the mind and the heart in coherence, because the heart is leading you towards that. The mind might be in a bunch of different places. So put your feet in the grass. If that's not possible for you, sit down on your floor. Take deep breaths and maybe just ask for the coherence. That's something I've really leaned into now, instead of this whole manifestation thing. Where I have to scribble things down a bunch of times. Of course, I still do things like that, but something I've really leaned into is asking and then knowing that I already have it. So, yeah, I've leaned a lot into praying and God and Jesus, and trying to expel the cringe here when I say things that are maybe connected with religion, because I think that religion, they're cults, and there can be a lot of negative connotations there. I am quite open. I'm just filling myself. I'm filling that emptiness with faith, and I've loved that. So surrendering to God and saying, hey, please give me the career which is most aligned to me. Give me the salary which is most aligned to me. And bring in the people, the opportunities, the experiences which are most aligned to me. And then thank you. Thank you for doing that. I trust, I believe, I surrender to that. I asked for it, and I know that I'm receiving it. And even when there are changes, even when something happens in my life that kind of stresses me out, and I think, oh, is this all? Have I made the wrong decision? Did I jump into something prematurely? Whatever it is, taking a deep breath, saying, like, coming back to that faith and knowing I'm taken care of. Everything that's happening is happening for me. It's not happening to me. It's happening for me. And not to push things that my heart and my gut know are not right for me. So, yeah, this has been kind of all over the place. And that's okay. It's my channel. Okay. Yeah, this is the process of losing myself and finding myself. I would say I'm in a place right now where I'm just feeling a little bit more comfortable, even though I just traveled for 2 months. Um, and so I'm in that weird uh, jet lag, and I'm back at home, and I'm in my parents' home in the south of Florida. Where am I going to live? What am I going to do with my life? I still don't know. There's so many things up in the air, and that's okay. That's okay. Losing to find, always in that middle weird in between place. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for staying, if you did, as long as this episode was. And I'll catch you in the next one. Okay. Mwah.